something felt different in Indianapolis last night. Not just frustration, not just disappointment. This felt like the moment an entire fan base finally realized the problems surrounding the Indiana Fever are a lot deeper than missed shots or early season chemistry issues. Because when Caitlin Clark gives you a superstar performance on national display, drags a game into double overtime, and still walks off the floor defeated, people stop asking questions about effort and start questioning leadership. And after the game, instead of answers, fans got a press conference that only made the tension surrounding this team even worse. Stephanie White kept circling around the same safe talking points: discipline, communication, rotations, effort. But the deeper reporters pushed, the more obvious it became that nobody inside that room wanted to directly confront the real issue. The Fever do not look organized offensively. They look reactive, confused, a step behind every possession. And fans are no longer satisfied hearing generic coaching language after another collapse where this team gives away momentum for entire quarters at a time.
When we don't consistently defend, and this is on us as coaches. Like, this is our responsibility. We got to be disciplined the entire game. We got to be disciplined every possession. We're taking chances. We're fouling shooters who are about to shoot tough shots. We got breakdowns in coverages.
What made the loss even more alarming was the way Indiana's defensive identity completely disappeared whenever the Mystics attacked the interior. Aaliyah Boston was constantly pulled away from the basket, leaving open driving lanes and uncontested finishes at the rim. The rotations were late, the help defense was inconsistent, and Washington looked far too comfortable attacking the paint possession after possession. That is not just a bad defensive night. That is a structural problem that has now shown up repeatedly. Right now, the Fever look like a team whose confidence completely controls their energy level. When the shots are falling, the pace increases, the crowd gets loud, and suddenly the effort on defense rises with it. But the second adversity hits, everything slows down. Transition defense disappears. Communication breaks down. Opposing teams start getting clean looks far too easily. That inconsistency is exactly what separates talented teams from serious playoff contenders in the WNBA.
And that's our biggest area of growth is everyone wants to go over and they're making shots. And for us, that's our biggest room for improvement right now is when things aren't going well, we still got to be able to defend and, find ways to get stops. And we haven't done that very well to this point, same way it was with our...
And the stat that should terrify Indiana fans the most is this: Washington scored 58 points in the paint. In today's WNBA, you simply do not survive defensively allowing that kind of interior dominance. That number tells the entire story. The Mystics were more physical, more decisive, and far more comfortable attacking the rim than Indiana was protecting it. Every possession started to feel inevitable, and once that happens in professional basketball, the pressure on your offense becomes almost impossible to sustain for 4 quarters. The lineup questions are becoming impossible to ignore. Fans are watching extended stretches where the Fever look undersized, outmatched physically, and completely vulnerable around the rim. And when those same issues continue appearing night after night, attention naturally shifts toward roster construction, substitution patterns, and whether this coaching staff has actually found combinations capable of surviving defensively against elite front courts.
Best defensive moments and worst.
I think a lot of things. One, intensity. I think attention to detail. It's little things. It's initial positioning. It's communication. It's reacting. It's relaxing off the ball. There are a lot of things that are outside of and great players make great plays. And the thing that Washington does is they keep moving. So
what makes the situation so frustrating for Fever fans is that Caitlin Clark is already producing the kind of performances this franchise desperately hoped for when they built the team around her. The shot creation is there. The deep range is there. The late game confidence is there. Even through double teams and defensive pressure, she continues finding ways to generate offense at an elite level. But the margin for error becomes microscopic when one player is forced to carry that much responsibility every single night. After the game, Clark barely seemed interested in discussing her scoring performance. That reaction said more than any statistic possibly could. Superstars care about wins first, and right now you can see the frustration building because individual brilliance is not translating into consistent team success.
I mean, obviously going to the left, that's what I like, but at the same time, like, I don't get a ton of catch and shoot threes, so, take what you can get, but it's great, but I don't really care because we lost.
Caitlin, 37 minutes tonight. How do you feel coming out of that one? See the smile on your face.
And this is where the conversation becomes much bigger than one regular season loss. Expectations around Indiana changed the moment Caitlin Clark entered the league. Every game is now analyzed nationally. Every defensive breakdown becomes a headline. Every missed opportunity carries pressure because this team is no longer rebuilding quietly in the background. They're one of the biggest stories in professional basketball, and with that attention comes scrutiny. The pressure surrounding Stephanie White is no longer coming only from emotional reactions online. Fans are watching repeated patterns emerge. Defensive collapses, slow adjustments, difficult lineup stretches, and games where Indiana spends far too much time trying to recover from self-inflicted mistakes. At some point, frustration turns into urgency, especially when the expectations surrounding this roster continue rising. Nobody is saying one loss defines a season, but when the same weaknesses continue appearing over and over again, people naturally begin questioning whether this roster is being put in the best possible position to succeed. That is a reality facing the Fever right now. And if these defensive issues continue, the conversation around leadership is only going to grow louder. So now the question shifts directly to the fans. Is this simply early season inconsistency? Or are we watching deeper problems develop inside one of the most talked about teams in the WNBA? And how much pressure should fall on the coaching staff when a performance from Caitlin Clark Still is not enough to secure a win? Drop your thoughts below because this conversation around Indiana is only getting bigger from here.